Oh yeah, it's the moment all you gaming guys and gals have been waiting for. That's right, it's another TV news takeover by Platform32. My name is Ian Higton and I'll be your guide for the next 20 and a bit minutes because this show is all about games, and nothing but games. On today's show, off-road racer Nailed smacks us square in the jaw with its G-Forcey genius. I find out if LittleBigPlanet 2 really is a dream to play or if it's just a blooming nightmare. But first, I know the guy on the right here is Pete Lowe, lead designer from Hothead Games, but who's that cheery chappie sat next to him?
Hi, I'm Joel from Hothead Games and you're watching Platform32.
Thanks for the swarm welcome, guys. That's right, Swarm, the newest game from Canadian developers Hothead Games, is due for release early this year, and eager to find out more, we spoke to the game's producer, Joel de Young, which I think is Dutch for Joel the Young, and also Pete Lowe, Swarm's lead designer. Hothead have a different approach to making games than other developers, and rather than pushing out the same old... Wait a minute, why am I telling you all this? Let's just let them do it.
5 years ago, Hothead was founded on a dream. And that dream was to make the same World War II Normandy beach game every year. Unfortunately, someone beat us to that dream. Actually, a bunch of people beat us to it, so we decided to make digital download games instead. So we started out, we started the game in 2006, started the company in 2006, and our first title was Penny Arcade Adventures, which were based on the Penny Arcade comic strip. And our next game, which we just released last year, was Deathspank and Deathspank Thongs of Virtue, the great adventure RPG game from the creative mind of Ron Gilbert. And our newest game is Swarm, which will be coming out in early 2011.
All of Hothead's games have been really well received in the gaming community, scoring big in reviews, with each separate title gathering large fan followings. So, for all our viewers out there who have never heard about Swarm before, give us the lowdown on what we can expect from the Little Blue Blighters.
Swarm is an action platformer where you steer a group of 50 pudgy blue morons through a ridiculously dangerous environment and try to help them survive, or just to have at least one survive. These cute little swarmites, they're not very smart. They just stand around. If you leave them there, they'll just look around, they'll scratch their butt, and wait to be told what to do. When you tell them what to do, they dutifully follow those instructions, even if that means diving off the edge of a cliff or jumping into a meat grinder. And in fact, this world...
If you leave them too long, they'll go kill themselves.
Yeah, they will. They're highly distractible. And in fact, this whole game is about them being in this dangerous environment and surviving. And it's so dangerous that there are places in the levels where you actually have to sacrifice part of your swarm in order to progress. And it really doesn't matter. None of the swarmites are particularly special in and of themselves. It's all about the group. And all you really have to do out of your 50 swarmites is have one survive in order to progress.
Crazy! Stay tuned for more swarmy nuggets from Joel and Pete coming up later in the show. Welcome one and all to Nailed. Now, before you ask, this isn't a video game adaptation of trouble magnet Mel Gibson's epic film The Passion of the Christ. It is in fact a high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal, off-road speed fest. As you cling onto your ATV or motocross bike for dear life, Nailed sees you hurtle around roller coaster-tastic racetracks, dodging all types of bone-breaking hazards and hitting jumps that come flying at you faster than the speed of sound. You may think I'm over-exaggerating, but the sense of speed in this game is insane. It's easily one of the fastest races I have played in a long time, so motion sickness sufferers beware. The tracks will twist and turn with only a split second's notice. You'll be thrown up huge ramps only to be catapulted towards gigantic wind turbines, and then you'll plummet down near bottomless caverns in your effort to place first and win that all-important gold trophy. You'll need cat-like reflexes if you want to make it round any of the huge tracks without getting well and truly nailed. If you think Nailed is fast normally, then you'll be in for a shock the first time you press that boost button. It makes you go redonkulously fast, and as the G-force takes effect, the screen turns grey and begins vibrating, accentuating the fact that your little vehicle is just about to break the sound barrier and send you shooting off into space. Your boost meter can be charged quite easily by pulling off perfect landings, popping wheelies, driving through special gates, and even jumping through fiery rings. But inexplicably not by pulling off wonder stunts a la Pure. For a game that sees you spend a large percentage of your playtime flying through the air, it seems very peculiar that the developers haven't put in the option to pull off special stunts by, say, pushing the right thumbstick in a certain direction. It doesn't really make much sense, unless the idea was to strip the game down to a bare-bones speed fest that just concentrated on the racing and not the gravity-defying mid-air moves. But still, in reality, it just serves to make the game feel strangely empty and renders the mahoosive jumps slightly pointless. There are 3 main game modes in total: Tournament, which is your main game, Off-Road, which holds your time attacks, quick races and custom tournaments, and then of course the multiplayer, which lets you jump online with up to 12 people. No split screen multiplayer though, which sucks. The tracks you race around are massive, and the exciting set pieces, huge plummeting drops, jumps over massive canyons, and countless different routes and hidden shortcuts really rev up the excitement factor and make each race a white-knuckle ride. At one point in the game, a gigantic passenger jet flew so close to the track I could have almost bunny-hopped onto the wing, and I was so impressed at the visual spectacle it created that I totally took my eyes off the road, and the next thing I knew, my rider was face-planting a nearby tree. Owie! Right. I'm off to my local supermarket car park to pull some wheelies on me push bike. But fear not, I'll be back later on in the show for part 2 of this review. Now, where's my tough top helmet? Stay tuned, gamers. Coming up later is my final verdict on Nailed. Has it failed? We take a trip to Craft World in my Little Big review of LittleBigPlanet 2, and we meet up with Joel and Pete from Hothead Games to talk more about Swarm. Hey there, good to see you stuck around. Still to come, Joel and Pete keep us sweet by telling us all about their sadistic sides, and my Nailed review reaches a mud-splattered, petrol-soaked conclusion. Now though, it's time to make all your dreams come true with part 1 of my LittleBigPlanet 2 review. Oh, sac magique! Ah, hello there, sac boy. Tell me, did you like the first LittleBigPlanet game? And did you think it had awesome graphics? And super creative level design? But did the awkward control system make you feel all sad? Well, fear not, little Lord Sackington, because LittleBigPlanet 2 is now out for the PlayStation 3, and it promises to make everything bigger and better than before. Oh, well, everything except for the control system, that is. Sorry. The original LittleBigPlanet was a little big hit for Sony, ha ha ha, and was a great exclusive for their console. Not only did it place the addictive 2D action from platformers of old into a gorgeous looking 2.5D setting, but it also introduced a comprehensive level editor which offered such immense opportunities for harnessing the user's creativity that by the time its sequel launched under 2 years later, there were literally millions of user-created levels available to be shared and downloaded by anyone in the world that had access to a PS3 and a copy of the game. And now we see the return of Sackboy in a brand new adventure which not only expands on the level editor by making it possible to create whole games, but it also lets you access all that lovely user-generated content from the first installment. It is literally a game of endless possibilities. Om nom nom. With over 30 story mode levels to play on, each chock full of hidden items to collect, there is plenty of replay value here, and due to the variation in the look and style of the levels, the game does a great job at holding your attention as it moves you from one wow-tastic set piece to another. 1 minute you could be riding a train, throwing lumps of jam at dangerous obstacles, and the next you could be riding mice around a racetrack made out of cakes. Ooh, it's this variation that keeps the game world fresh and makes it a joy to explore. To help you on your journey, Sackboy gets given a few handy little devices, including the Grabinator, which lets him pick up and throw objects, the Grapple Gun, which is great for Tarzan-like feats of acrobatics, and the Creatonator, a hat which can fire anything from water to yummy cupcakes. These devices are great additions to this new installment, and they improve the gameplay and fun immensely. Sadly though, the fiddly controls from LBP1 remain, and getting to grips with the 2.5D platform sections can be confusing and frustrating. Sackboy's sluggish floating movement also remains, and because of this it's easy to get stuck on scenery as you try to manoeuvre between the 3 planes of depth. People used to the smooth, fast, and more importantly tight controls of other platform games will be confused as to why the developers haven't put more effort into making it more user-friendly, especially when this was one of the main gripes from the first game. It's also very easy to lose sight of your little chap in the busier later levels, especially when in 4-player co-op and there are multiple sacks swinging around in front of your face. Wait, what did I just say? Hold on to your sack, boy! I'll be back with the second part of this review in a little big while. Welcome back to the second lap of my Nailed review. It would have been on a lot later in the show, but I fell off my bike and grazed my knee. Oh, ow, it's got gravel in it. Wiping out or getting nailed happens a lot in this game, especially when you first play and you don't know your way around the tracks. The collision detection can be a bit hit and miss though, if you excuse the pun. Sometimes the slightest brush against an object will knock you off your metallic steed, while other times you can slam headfirst into walls and the vehicle will come to a complete stop, or just flip in a completely impossible way so you're pointing back in the direction you should be heading. During the tournament, AI racers pootle along at a leisurely pace, never providing much of a challenge, especially in the first few leagues, and actually on many tracks after the first lap, I hardly saw them again as I was so far in the lead. Even multiple crashes didn't give them a chance to catch up, so winning a race felt less like an accomplishment and more like a chore. Okay, so I touched on multiplayer earlier, but seeing as the best bit of most racing games is when you go up against your fellow humans, it's probably best if I let you know what to expect from the online portion of Nailed. Jump into multiplayer and you'll find that every track in the game is open and ready to race on, either in quick matches or custom games. You can customise your matches to choose what tracks you race on, and also add a couple of mutators, which change the rules of the game, such as the Boost Madness mutator, which gives you infinite nitro and lets you go full throttle for as long as you want, or until you crash into a wall. Inexplicably, once you create or join a match and the game lobby is active, the lobby leader has no option to change the track or race mode. This means if you want to change to a new map or mix up the mutators, you will have to exit out of the lobby and set it up all over again. If you don't, then chances are you'll end up playing the same track over and over again until the end of time. Or until you have to go downstairs for your dinner. Not only is this incredibly annoying, it's also one of the stupidest multiplayer design choices of recent times. There really is no excuse for the multiplayer lobbies to be so badly implemented. I just can't see the point to it, and this could be one of the reasons why, even though the game has been out in America since November last year, it is still very hard to find a decent online match. Sure, I encountered no lag during my time online, which is a massive plus, but that's kind of to be expected when hardly anyone else is online racing. In my opinion, Nailed is a massively missed opportunity. Yes, it's very easy to pick up and play, and for the first 5 or 6 hours it's really good fun. It's one of those races that I just love. You know, the ones where you just hold down the accelerator and never let go. Trouble is, its flashy exterior hides a shallow gaming experience that will get boring very quickly. It would have been great if the developers had included some road rash style, punch a guy off his bike elements, and the lack of stunts is just puzzling, as is the supremely bad design of the multiplayer lobby system. Fingers crossed that in the future we see a sequel to Nailed which addresses these issues, because I would love to see this franchise continue and realise its full potential. Keep your eyes glued to the telly because there's a whole load of game-tastical goodness coming up, and Wait, don't actually glue your eyes to the telly. I'm pretty sure that would be dangerous in some way or another. And, I can't afford another lawsuit. Not after the last one. I mean, how was I supposed to know you couldn't respawn in real life? I love Platform 32. It's so bad. Which in reality means good, because there's even more coming up right now for your viewing pleasure. In approximately 3 minutes and 39 seconds, we find out if LittleBigPlanet 2 is worth your cash or if it's destined for the Little Big Bin. But now, let's go back to our favourite Canadian games developers as they talk about pudgy blue morons. Welcome back to the swarm embrace of Platform 32, people. We're back with Joel and Pete from Hothead Games to find out more about their new downloadable title, Swarm. So, let me get this straight. The player is in charge of a group of 50 suicidal blue potato-y thingies with arms and legs as they run around a hazard-strewn landscape. How does that even work?
The cool thing about the game and the mechanic itself is that you actually control all 50 at once. There's not a lead guy at all, and so you actually move them all at once.
In real time, it's fast paced. You can jump, huddle, spread, stack, bash.
Combine all those moves in creative ways in order to progress through the level. We think it's something really unique and something that people really love. It's a pretty easy game to get into, but we've also designed it. We know there's a lot of hardcore gamers, really people that really like a challenge that are on Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network, and so we've really made this game something that will challenge the hardest core
We've got
gamers.
leaderboards for every level.
That's right. It's we
global
really went old school on the scoring system. It'll remind you of being back in the arcade, and it's really about getting that high score and eking out a few less milliseconds to complete the level in order to beat your friends.
Those cute little swarmites get a bit of a rough deal and are given quite a bit of punishment during the course of the game, falling foul of many a nasty, spiky, burny trap. Ow! It looks like you might have enjoyed coming up with weird and wonderful ways to make the blue crew pop their clogs a little bit too much, maybe? Don't you guys feel a bit guilty? Or are Hothead a little bit sadistic?
Well, yes. I suppose I'm a bit sadistic. There's something about seeing a cute, cuddly type of character dying in horrific ways. It was a little bit difficult getting our lead animator to buy into that, though, because he's a nice guy. He's kind of a cute guy. He's a cute, cuddly guy. And
I'm not supposed to say that on camera.
Oh no?
Sorry.
Well, he is.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so we actually had to work. We had to work with him to get him to really kill these guys in nasty, nasty ways. And I actually remember showing him Limbo for the first time, in fact, and that's sort of what he was like. Oh, yeah, I get it.
A bleak game.
Yeah, very bleak, dark. If you haven't seen it yet. And once he saw that game, he kind of understood, and then he started working with our swarmites and started, building all sorts of crazy, insane traps. And he kind of probably went a little bit further than we even expected. But yeah, it was good fun.
Now, before you go, would you mind letting us know when we can get around to sacrificing swarmites in the comfort of our own homes?
Swarm is going to be coming out on Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network very early in 2011. And in the meantime, you can stay up to date with all the latest news on the game at www.swarmites.com. And don't forget to stay tuned and keep checking Platform 32.
Cheers, guys. I can't wait for the game. It looks like it's going to be great fun and a refreshing, innovative change from the overwhelming surge of COD clones and GTA rip-offs. Right, I'm off to try and make my own swarmites by inflating 50 hamsters with a bicycle pump before shaving them and painting them blue. What? It'll work? Probably. Here, hammy, 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 hammy. Oh! Ooh, whoops. Hey, it's time to welcome back the sack with part 2 of my LittleBigPlanet 2 review. Unlike the first game, all the levels in story mode this time around have been created with the in-game editor, so they give you a great sense of what is possible with a bit of, well actually a lot of time and effort. The creation tools have been expanded and improved, allowing for the development of whole games, and this time around they are not just limited to platformers. By tweaking the gravity and using another device called the Controlinator, which can be added to objects so Sackboy can drive them, you can effectively create top-down games such as Super Sprint style races. Combine this with a Creatinator that if programmed to fire lasers and you've got yourself a space shooter, or make it spew rockets and voila, a tank game. Bonkers. But it doesn't end there. Media Molecule have even thrown in logic circuits which give you even greater control over the minutest details in the game, and Sackbots which you can cast as NPCs in your games, like little digital actors, who thanks to the added camera function and the ability to record your own voiceovers can take starring roles in your game's cutscenes. There's even a built-in sequencer complete with samples of instruments which let you create your own soundtrack. It's literally nuts the amount of functionality here, and best of all, once you are finally done with your masterpiece, you can publish it and free it into the wilds of Craftworld for all to try out and rate. Search the user-created levels for inspiration, and you'll find there is so much variety here, and thanks to the rating system, you can avoid the rubbish levels and concentrate on only the best. Myself, I was drawn to the different remakes of games that people have made, copying Mario's, Sonic's, Zelda's. Some talented chap had even put their grapple gun to good use by trying to make the original Bionic Commando. Great stuff! But after trying all of this out for about an hour, history repeated itself and I inevitably got bored and gave up. I just don't have the patience for the hours and hours of fiddling around, altering every aspect of the game world, testing, retesting, blah blah blah. It just goes on and on. You need serious dedication to make something impressive here, and in the end, I was just content with using the PlayStation Eye to decorate the levels with pictures of myself. Look, I've gone done a good one here. There's me. There's me. Oh look, it's me. And me. There too. And me. And me. And me. Me. You can even decorate other people's pods with your stickers. Check this out. Blonk. Blonk. Hope he doesn't mind. Oh. As a platform game on its own, LBP2 is slightly ho-hum. The new levels based in Craftworld do seem to have lost a little bit of that magic that was present in the first game, and that pesky control scheme still infuriates me. But overall, the game is still one of the best platform experiences you can get on a modern day console. And as a creation tool, it is simply amazing. Thanks to the ability to share your handiwork with the world, it practically gives you a never-ending game to play with. In fact, the only thing limiting you really will be your own imagination. Oh, and your patience with the creation tools. Bye-bye, Sack Peoples! Well, that's it. The end of another P32 gaming odyssey. I'm off to recreate the Star Wars trilogies in LittleBigPlanet 2. The first three, not the abominations that were the prequels though. Lucas, why yada. So with that, I'll hand you back over to the kind of nice people at TV News for this week's competition details. Oh, and remember to stay tuned to TV News forever and ever, because Platform32 will be back with more gaming goodies very soon. Unless you're really impatient, and then in that case you can just pop over to our website www.platform32.com, which is where all our videos live when they're not on the TV. See you soon, and good luck in the competition!